friends and family, to today's soap class adventures of the Wellness Homesteader. So first, y'all, if you're new to my channel, first of all, big welcome. We've got a lot of newbies here. And I don't often say this, but my name is Kim. I'm very glad you're here. I hope you'll stick around, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and then you ring the bell and select all to be notified of all the new uploads. So, y'all, I am so excited for today. You know, one of the things for me about being retired after traveling my career is I feel sometimes isolated, I guess is the best way to say it. I'm fine by myself, but I will go a few days and not see another three-dimensional person sometimes. So I am the only one that can change that. I'm not going to do a whole house tour, but I thought I would show you and talk a little bit about setting up to do a make and take class yourself. So even if you're not a soap maker, there are so many fun things that you can do. I know one of the ladies who attended last time and is attending this time and actually asked for the class. She mentioned she would like to do like a lip gloss or a lip balm class for her granddaughter. She has several, and they're of the age where they're wearing that kind of stuff, but she also doesn't want them, you know, heavy chemicalizing themselves. So that may be to come yet. But there's all kinds of things you can do for a make and take it class. You can purchase like little craft kits from the DG, Dollar General. I mean, there's just a lot of fun things you can do. And there's something to be said for the fellowship and the camaraderie and the fun that you have spending time together, making something productive. So it's a good side hustle if you are comfortable with the teaching aspect of it. I've been making soap for over 30 years, so I think I could make soap in my sleep, so it's no big deal. So let me just share a little bit about what I've done. First of all, I have baptized, sanitized, Sanfordized all of my house. You know, it's always good when I'm going to hold a class because it motivates me to do kind of like a spring clean, you know, wash the baseboards. I scrubbed all the floors on my hands and knees. And sometimes you just need to do that, right? And I know people aren't coming to inspect my home. I understand that, but I also have been holding classes before, just saying, and you look up and there's like this beautiful cobweb. Now, thankfully, it's the Halloween season and I can blame it on the decor, but this morning I turned on my tri-lamp that, oh no, it's working. I thought it wasn't working. And I don't use it very often. Generally, if I have company, I will use it because my house can be kind of dark. It's very overcast today. And y'all, I had like a whole spider kingdom up in there, cobwebs. So I'm sure I'll see more things when people are here. Being short, I don't always look up, but I've really tried to get everything good and clean and to make some fun little snacks and treats and desserts. I felt a little bad that I didn't show you my final pumpkin. So for first things, let's go over and look at my snack setup, and I'll talk about what I will do like last minute and how I like to set up and plan for these type things. So I hope you will stay tuned. I hope this will be a fun video. I have not asked the participants if I can film. I don't think anybody minds me filming their hands and doesn't want their faces filmed. So I'll ask when they're here if they're uncomfortable. Don't lean on the dishwasher. It just snaps shut. I'm scared of loud noises since I, you know, popped my shoulder out. Thank you all for your well wishes. It is really sore today, much sore today than it was yesterday. However, it stayed in socket. So, y'all, I'm just beginning to think that the doc was right, and I just have a lot of inflammation and swelling. I must have moved wrong in my sleep, and boop, it popped out. All right, let's go look at the setup and how we're going to actually organize and go forward. Stay tuned. All right, so the first thing I like to do is I have 3 restrooms. One is in the master. I don't care if people use it, but it would not be like the most convenient because it's clear on the other side of the house, right? But I do have 2 restrooms, and even with only 3 guests, sometimes, you know, one is occupado and they need the other. So I'll do a little housekeeping to start. I'll start with a prayer. That's just a me thing. and share where the restrooms are. Everything will be pretty much out as far as snacking goes, but also just assure people, you know, this is informal. If you have questions, please ask me. If something doesn't seem right, you know, I'll be right here. You know, please ask me. It's a lot easier for me, for a soap class, not to have 12 people. But we did it last time. How? I'm not really sure, but we managed to get it done. So one of the first things I had to do, so I'm gonna swing it around here. I'll use my good arm. Oopsie. Oh, y'all, did you hear my shoulder? It's still creaking and cracking. You might notice that I've cleared everything off the counter. So I don't have my centerpiece. I don't have all of my to-do list because thankfully they all got crossed off. Y'all, you know, I hope I've lost some weight with all this work, but I like to have a nice clear area. Now, I could go ahead and set up the 3 stations but for the 3 people working, but I will do that once people arrive and talk a little bit about what's out in front of them, how to use it. There's a scale, there's a digital thermometer. There may be some things that at least one of the people have never used before. I do have my ceiling fan on, and y'all, since it's 95% humidity out this morning, we've had 2/100ths of an inch of rain, of course. I did go ahead and crank down my AC a little bit to like 72, just kind of get some of the water out of the air so it would be comfortable in here. I have this ceiling fan going. I will not have the kitchen ceiling fan going, only because I don't want to spread a bunch of lye fumes. We'll do this lye portion first and it will get set aside. Now, Frankie loves his mama, but he's not really crazy about lots of people, so he will probably disappear and go take a nap in my bed or in the closet. That's one of his favorite places. So, you know, put pets up if that's a necessary thing, but for Frankie, he's like, I'm all set. On the television, y'all, if you've not seen all of the great playlists that YouTube has, now I have it muted for copyright purposes, but I like to have a little bit of background music, and this is like a smooth jazz. Happens to be Frankie's favorite. When I have to take Frankie to the vet or on a car ride, as long as I play smooth jazz, he doesn't yell. So I will turn that on. You know, have plenty of light, especially light in the areas where people might need to go. So I'm gonna kind of turn this around here and show you through the entryway. So this is where people will enter. I have, you know, a place for them to wipe their feet. If anybody wears a jacket or has an umbrella, I have a peg system. Why can I never do, oh yeah, I probably should put this in up here so they can hang up their things, their purses, whatsoever. I will go ahead and turn on the ghosts, so this will be a little more lit up, but let me show you what I'm doing for the restroom and actually the laundry room, which I don't think we'll be in, but it just keeps people from having to walk past a dark room with no windows. So this is not the full tour, y'all. We will be doing that. I did manage, and I know this is very dark, to get everything cleaned up, straightened up, refilled, but this is just a battery operated candle, so it's not going to put off any smoke or be danger of fire. So as they at least go past this area, it's not quite as dark. And once we light up our ghosts, let's see here. Oh, you have to turn it. Oh, Lordy, y'all. Does that say on? I'm going to have to go buy me some cheaters that, okay, that must not, okay, the green one's on. I kind of want to get off of the Flashy McFlasher some. So let's see what 7 looks like. And 6. Ooh, I kind of like 6. And you got to point it at the base. Okay, that looks better. So this will give him a little bit of light. But as you see, my restroom is quite dark. So I do have an ancillary light. Oh gosh, that has bugs in it. Oh Lord, we can't, we gotta clean that. And I put another one of these candles. You know what, we'll just turn that light off. Folks won't see it so much. But this way it won't be quite so dark. Here's my pantry. I did straighten it up, y'all. It's not perfect, but it definitely looks a whole bunch better. But believe it or not, oftentimes people will say, well, I want to see how you store your grain or show me your pantry. And I'm happy to do that. So into the kitchen, the ring light we may use just for ancillary lighting. And I have as much cleared off as I could clear off. And then moving on into the eating area, I want to show you a cutesy pumpkin, y'all. It's so cute. It really turned out cute with the lines. I think it actually looks like a pumpkin. I'm keeping it covered lest a stray cat hair fly by. We have some cookies in here, Biscoff, a few. I always try to keep some type of candy treat for guests. It's not, I try to buy things I don't like coconut things. And I don't think I showed you all this. So I purchased this last year very reluctantly at $45, but I'd looked at it for 2 years. I found on eBay, guys, for $8 and something, these glasses. Now, they're not a perfect match, but they're pretty ding-dang close. And they're for show and not for drinking. And then my centerpiece I did stick over here. So the table's pretty crowded, but we still have room if somebody else brings a treat. And once we move all of the soap supplies over, this can be just more of a beverage station. So I'll be filling up our punch pumpkin. I have this filled with some RO water ready to go. It's plugged in. It just needs to be turned on. I have our sweetener. If someone wants really real sugar, I might have to dig a little bit. Some hot chocolate, some decaf black tea, lots of herbal teas, our plates and napkins, and disposable cups. Y'all, do yourself a favor. These are so inexpensive at Walmart. Now, I don't know. Okay. This says $1.47. It was 89 cents. So I bought 2 of them. I also got the matching napkins and plates. I had to buy 2 packs of plates because they only came in 8, but the napkins came in 16. All of these items, y'all, I've run through the soap process like 15 times. I hope I have everything out, but if you've watched any of my videos, you know that might not be the case. But in here is where I keep a lot of my overflow soap supplies. I also keep some in the center cabinet, so it won't be a big deal if I have to retrieve something. I do have some overflow items, like I have extra olive oil, I have extra coconut oil, and I do have another container of lard. I have plenty of castor oil. I have some odds and ends that need to be used up. Everyone will have a spoon and a utensil. They will need to share the stick blender. I have lots of extra gloves. My eye protection I've put out because the person that's attending that's from out of town may not have anything to cover her eyes with. So I'm fine with sharing. I can always put on my cheaters that don't cheat very well. So, and I usually will go ahead and light up, you know, my wax melters, and I do get a lot of questions about these. These are essential oil diffusers. Both of mine are from, oh gosh, well, I'll come back to that. And I decided I didn't really have like various dips and such, so this is for showing. We need to turn on the tree. I haven't done that yet. And yeah, so Frankie's sound asleep there. Everything's all put together and clean and actually ready to go. So I've turned on my vintage lamp. I love it. And y'all never see this on, but the tri lamp is also a great light. I can turn on the kitchen light, and there's also a small fixture here. So what we will do is, you know, get acquainted. We will kind of talk about some housekeeping tasks, like where to use the restroom, what do you do if you need something, what do you do if you have a question. Everyone has their own set of printed directions. And here's the thing, y'all. If you are a Bath and Body product maker and you don't want to share your proprietary recipes, go with a very basic and simple recipe. For this particular group, none of them are going to start their own soap business. and none of them are going to be competition against me. I have no problem sharing my favorite recipe, which is a lard, olive oil, castor oil, and coconut oil based soap. We have our Crafter's Choice, which comes from Wholesale Supplies Plus, 4042. Lavender oil, sorry to say eucalyptus. And then I have some organic lavender buds for decorating the top. So everything's ready here. I do have a spare stick blender, but I normally just use it for food. And I also have 2 additional scales, with there only being 1 free plug. And the participants are going to stand here, and perhaps at the end we can move the garbage can over. I think we're going to have enough room. I think it's going to be just fine. But I did pull out the battery scale, and I have a couple electric scales that we can try to plug in if people want their own scale. And sometimes it's easier, especially if one person is a lot slower than the rest. That way they don't feel excluded and they can work at their own pace. So that's the basic setup, y'all. And it looks like it's so simple, but I want to tell y'all, it looks like a lot of stuff, doesn't it? It was a lot of work getting ready for this. So a couple other simple things, and I apologize. The ice maker's running. I forgot to have it run last night, so I got up to no ice, but it makes pretty quick, so it's not a big deal. You know, some of the things you might want to check when you have a large group of people, or even just a group of people who, you know, maybe you don't know super well, make sure you have a spare toilet tissue in the restroom. Make sure you have Kleenex available. Make sure you have a room spray in case somebody has tummy troubles. You know, you don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable or embarrassed by that. Make sure you have plenty of hand soap and that your pump isn't clogged up. That happens frequently, I find, with the Bath & Body Works products. So not sure why that happens, but it certainly does. Anytime I have guests, it always seems like people say, "Can I see your chickens? Can I pet your chickens?" And of course the answer to that is yes. I am very proud of my girls, and I feel like they are my pseudo children, so I'm happy to show them. But what that actually means is I need to be sure not only is the front porch clean, swept, we had a lot of wind with the rain, but that my backyard doesn't look like a hot mess, and that I have a rug that I can just throw in the washing machine because it's a little bit muddy, and it hasn't been muddy for a month and a half. But I would say, you know, be prepared. People are interested is the best way I know to say it. I know I was completely shocked when I had the 12 people. I only knew one person. No, I take that back. I knew 3 people that were there. 9 I did not know. The very first thing was, take us on a house tour. Well, thankfully, being the type A personality I am, everything was like spotless. But I mean, they wanted to go into the master bathroom. They wanted to see the walk-in closet. I was a little astounded, y'all. So who is coming is my next door neighbor and her mother. Her mother is my age. We have boys the same age that carpooled to school together. So, you know, I've known them for a number of years. If they want to go take a nap in my bed, I don't care. But when you have a lot of people that you don't know well, you definitely want to be alert for that. Another thing I will say, and y'all, not for this particular class, is you need to be mindful of a few things. Make sure your firearms are put up. Mine are loaded. So, not that there will be little children here, but you just never know. Medications, y'all. You never know who is struggling with an addiction problem, or it might trigger them. So keep your medications put up, and your valuables, y'all. Don't leave your purse out in the open or out of your eyesight. if there's money in it. I never have any money, but it would be very unfortunate if something happened and then you had to determine, okay, who took it? I need to make a police report, etc. So those are some of the downsides if you have one of these events where you really don't know people well. Now, the event that I had where I had so many people, what I can say about it was people were all over this house. And I do mean all over. Almost everyone ended up like going upstairs to use the restroom, maybe a little bit uncomfortable. So while this group, nothing is off limits. Like I said, they can take a nap in my bed if they want. You do have to be mindful, and that's a shame to have to say that, but it's actually true. Now today you'll see, and I may just put it up because it's not very attractive. I always hang my purse on the doorknob. I might have 52 cents in there, so, and I know none of these people are going to take anything. I'm not worried about it. But if you're thinking about ways to earn money with a side hustle, you kind of have to be mindful of it. So let's talk a little bit about pricing and how you would determine if this is not just a fun girls event where everybody's gonna purchase their own stuff to bring to work on. How do you price it? What is fair? What isn't fair? What will people be attracted to, and why? So I hope you'll stay tuned for just a moment. All right, so this is the sacred book. Pardon me. One of the things I can tell you, I am so sorry, y'all. I'm gonna have hiccups all day, oh, for goodness sakes. When I was at the doctor, I was like, I promise I haven't been drinking, because it sure sounded like I had horrible hiccups. I think it can be kind of nerves, but at any rate, recipes. Y'all, I had a laptop. I loaded everything into the hard drive of the laptop. I did not back it up, okay? Those are all wrong things. So now we have cloud storage, which makes the security of what you have in written form that you want to retain a lot easier to keep track of. However, I have always kept the book. Now you'll notice there's a bunch of papers and labels and notes and such in here. But we're talking about, oh, I'm so sorry, y'all. We're talking about pricing. So I have been making this particular soap, goodness, for many years. I don't know how many years. So I'm just gonna briefly show you this because y'all probably can't read my chicken scratch. So you see that I have the recipe. If somebody wants to make a small, if somebody wants to make a big, for this particular instance, we're going to be making the larger loaves of soap, but I have it priced out. I know exactly what it costs me to produce this soap, that it makes 9 bars and 2 sample bars, and that helps me if I'm going to resell. But when we're talking about pricing for an event, first thing you need to do is take into account supplies. So make sure you have plenty on hand, know how much of your supplies are going to be used and what that's actually going to cost you. Also, are you going to provide anything they take with? In this case, a soap mold. So soap molds, quality soap mold can be as much as $20 that you'll want to add to the price. In this particular case, one of the people have a soap mold and 2 can use molds, and then they can leave them here. I agreed to cut it and wrap it because this is a little bit different scenario. If they want to take it with and give it to me later, that's fine too. If I don't get them back, that's also fine. So what you have to take into account is your supplies, any hard goods, and if you're truly doing this for a revenue generating opportunity, whatever you're going to spend on food and groceries or snacks, paper goods, that type of thing, should all be added up. So once you have everything together of exactly how much comes out of your pocket, how do you price it then? Well, y'all, it's generally, the rule of thumb is 2.5 to 3 times your basic cost is what you should be charging. They're getting one-on-one attention. They're getting something that they can take away. They're getting a recipe. You know, in the case of the 12 people, they all got their own molds. So there was a lot to it, and I charged accordingly. Now, one of the things that does sometimes happen, and it happened with my 12 people, is if there's an organizer, they may want to negotiate a rate with you because they're bringing you 11 other people that are going to be paying, so to speak. And also, y'all decide, do you want it to be a cash only? Do you have Venmo and PayPal and all of those? And are they willing to send to friends and family, or are you going to have to pay the price because you generated revenue? And I'm not going to get into that because that's a whole tax issue. So what I will say is, not only do you need to come up with a price, be prepared if one person is organizing a group that they're probably going to try to negotiate with you, and you need to have like, I'm not going to do it for less than this. And that's what I actually had to do with the 12, because what they were wanting, I was not willing to do. So basically, I'm not going to do this for free. Now, I would for this group, but if you're doing it as a side hustle, you need to be very, very mindful of it. They're going to use your electricity. They're going to put wear and tear on your appliances, you know, your scale, your stick blender, your temperature gauge. I'm sorry, guys, words must escape me this morning, and I've only got 20 minutes till they arrive. But they don't have far to come, right? So they're probably all going to meet over there and come over here. So keep all of those things in mind as you price. You don't want to price yourself out of the market. So it's kind of good to Google, find soap making class near me, or fill in the blank of whatever you're going to do, and see what other people are charging. My rates are generally very low. Now for this particular class, I am not doing this to see how much money I can make. That hasn't been the gist at all. So for this class, my interest was in fellowship, in teaching, in making a little money, but not the normal 2.5 to 3 times my cost. And that's a personal decision. What I will say is, don't undersell yourself. If you cut prices, in some people's minds, that means it's not a valuable or worthwhile class to take or product to make. So you just have to kind of play the pricing game. And that's, out of everything, my least favorite. I just want to see my people, and I want to snack, and I want to have fun, right? So anyway, I hope those items have been helpful to you. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to go ahead and pour my punch, and I think that's the last thing I need to do. Is that the last thing? I think that's the last thing. And I'll go ahead and open the door so that, you know, they know I'm home and such. It'll let a little bit of light in. But I think, guys, we are ready. So I will see if they mind if I do a little filming. And if they do, maybe I can just insert here like a little slideshow of the different steps that we undertake. Oh, I need to go get the goat's milk from the big freezer to this freezer, so I better get busy. All right, I'll see you shortly. So we are to the oil measuring part of the video. So we have Grace, and we have her mom Carrie, and Sharon. I'm so bad with names, y'all know that. That's okay. So what we've done so far is we have mixed together without incident our lye and our goat's milk. These are sitting aside. We'll stir them from time to time as that ice melts. And continue on measuring out our oils. We're gonna melt our oils, and then we'll be waiting for those to cool as well. Well, y'all, our soap class was so much fun, and I have to say, for me, in my space, 3 was the perfect number. We just had the best time visiting, snacking, sharing stories, laughing. Did my heart good. I do spend quite a bit of time by myself, so that was super fun. I hope this has helped you if you're considering a side hustle of teaching a class. I will be doing closer to, I think, Christmas, a little class on some lip balm. That's another fun one to do, and very easy and very appealing to a younger crowd. And you know, this is a good time of the year when people are thinking about stocking stuffers and different things like that, that they would like to have, maybe some handmade gifts. So ended up with, pardon me y'all, the hiccups. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry y'all. 3 beautiful 3-pound loaves of soap. And then this particular recipe I already know has some overflow. So I ended up with about 6 body bars and maybe close to a dozen little like hand wash bars with the overflow of the soap that I'm going to keep, that is not included, you know, in their product takeaway. I did have them go ahead and leave it for Sharon is not local, so she will take hers in the mold and all. And then the other 2 are going to leave theirs here for curing, so that makes it easy for them. I mean, basically walk across the yard, yeah, to return the soap. So I did offer to actually cut it for those who are going to be here in town. So if you have questions or things that I didn't cover, I'd be more than glad to entertain them. We did end up visiting the chickens, as well as the loofah was a big hit. And thankfully I had some extra seeds I was able to share around because I've got a ton more coming. So didn't get rid of all of them, but I certainly was able to share with those that had interest. So all in all, very successful. It's a lot of work, y'all. My dishwasher, you have to wash soap making utensils. You can't just put them straight away in the dishwasher because it's not a dishwasher soap. So I got all that done. Everything's back in place. I've snacked a bit. Oh goodness, we had some really good snacks that folks brought along. It was so much fun. So now I get to relax. I've earned it. I took the trash to the curb and I'm like, my work is done for the day and it's only like 2 o'clock. So I plan to see you all a little bit later. I am going to insert a picture here at the very end of the 3 gals holding their product. They were really pleased. Everybody was very open to the filming. What I found is that it was difficult for me to film in a YouTube style while instructing, answering questions, making sure everybody had everything they need. And that might just be a me thing or an attention span thing for me, just saying. But my shoulder stayed in socket. I'm super happy. It's pretty sore, y'all. I will admit that. A couple of you have said, how on earth did you get it back in? And I have to tell you, it was the Lord, because having been a nurse for 43 years, I have seen many shoulder dislocations that are difficult to get back in. So I'm just very thankful. I'm sore and I'm not going to carry heavy things with that arm if I can remember. So I plan to see you all a little bit later this week. I have a ton of peppers I've harvested that need to be made into some cowboy candy, maybe into some hot sauce. I'm not sure I have enough for both at this moment, but I still have peppers on the vine. So I will see you all again a little bit later. Do me a big favor, go ahead and smash that like button on your way out. Drop me a comment. Any questions about hosting a Make and Take It event? I will share, if you're local, there's going to be one upcoming at my neighbor Grace's house. They're going to do a Christmas wreath class. And so I will be attending. I don't need a wreath, but I love those kind of make it, take it things. So there's another idea for you if you're looking for a little extra money through these tough times and through the holiday season. So until I see you again, be healthy, be well, be blessed, and take care.